and welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast.
Well, it's not exactly brand new anymore, is it?
Welcome to Freshly Grounded, the podcast.
That's better.
Created by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded.
After that bit.
Created by
After that bit.
best friends Faisal and Sam.
Really?
Assalamu alaikum,
One sec.
Mr. Abdul Samad. How are you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you, brother?
Yeah, good man. What would you do if I did this episode? If I just like turned on the camera and I was in a vest?
In a vest?
In a vest. I did the episode in a vest.
I wouldn't judge it. I would be like, fair play. You obviously been training. You look good in that white vest, and I'd be like, yeah, you look nice. I've seen you in a vest before. You suit a vest, to be fair.
I like wearing a vest. I am actually wearing a vest, and then I just quickly threw this on.
Bro, take the jumper off, man.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that. This is one of the first times I've worn a jumper properly in Dubai, but I've got AC on in here, so it's.
Do you feel like you need to wear a jumper, or are you just doing it for the aesthetics?
No, I'm doing it because I'm wearing a vest underneath, and I had to throw something on.
That's not haram,
if you
is it?
remember last time, I said I'd wear a shirt this time. Remember?
Yeah. Maybe you should just wear the vest. Why don't you take that jumper off and just have the vest on?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Why?
Now, maybe one day, not right now.
You look good in a vest.
I appreciate that.
So why are you wearing that? Why are you wearing the hat? I've noticed you've been wearing a hat a lot the last few days.
I haven't worn a hat in months, have I? Let me just cut this close off. Basically, bro, my barber is out of town. My barber's out of town, and long story short, I went local, and I have to wear a hat for about a week now. Basically, is a short story. Alhamdulillah.
Are you willing to show us what it looks like, or?
I can't because I've already. First of all, don't act like you haven't seen it because I showed you this weather there, and I'm not because when something goes on the internet, Sam, don't know if you know how the internet works, but it stays there, and I feel like it could come back and bite me. So I'm gonna keep the hat on, maybe for next episode as well, maybe the episode after. My brother-in-law might be coming to Dubai. He gives good haircuts. And so when he comes, I'll get him to try and fix it. And nice. That's basically the story. So thanks for inquiring.
Next podcast, you'll be happy to have no hat on and potentially wearing a vest.
That's not true entirely. That's entirely untrue. I'll be wearing both an item of clothing above the vest and also something on my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually when he did the haircut, I was like, I just need Sam right now to fix this.
Yeah.
Do you think that you could fix that, or you just saw?
From what I saw, you could, but you can't. What's that expression? You can't polish.
We know the expression. Yeah.
You could probably tweak it in areas, but I think the fade is extremely high. The left side seems to be extremely high. The fade's almost riding over all the way to the middle of the hair. There wasn't much of a fade. I don't know what I could do there. It would probably be like a buzz cut.
Yeah, I was thinking you could have to like buzz it on the top and have a really thin amount of hair on the top just so that you could fade it to something. Yeah.
Did you ask him to leave that fringe extra long?
What's that?
Did you ask him to leave the fringe extra long?
I showed them the haircut. So for the viewers listening, before I came to Dubai, Sam did my last haircut and he took some lovely pictures in detail of my head so that I could then show people, like, this is my ideal haircut and that's what I want. And I showed him the haircut and about 5 minutes later, I was off the chair. And...
do you know what worries me? I hate the fact that he was copying my haircut and he's done that. So I'm worried that I've maybe misled him.
It's not you, mate. It's not you. Don't worry. You're the clear. You're the clear.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Good.
So there's that.
So other than the dodgy haircut, are you okay?
You remember? Yeah, I was growing the hair, and then it just got difficult to maintain, bro. And like I remembered why I enjoyed having short hair so much, so I cut it again.
So you were going to grow it like longer, like back to how you used to have it?
Yeah, and then it just became really difficult. I started wearing hats because it was either wear a hat or style the hair. And, you know, when you're quickly leaving the house, you don't have really time to style the hair. So then I'm just constantly wearing hats again. And I thought, you know what? When I had short hair, I would wake up and my hair would be ready. So
I think you suit short hair better, bro.
I appreciate that, bro. Enough of the hair talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's I was just thinking. Last week we were talking about food, right? And I had this thought just now. Is it illegal to take away food from a buffet? You think?
Is it illegal?
Yeah, it must be, right?
Good
Like, 'cause
question.
otherwise you would just go there. Pay.
I believe so. I believe what I believe what you're doing when you're entering the contract of a buffet is you're paying X amount to sit in their restaurant and consume however much you like within their restaurant. I think even taking like a cheeky croissant or something out of there is questionable. If we're being really honest, are we talking halal, haram, legal, illegal? I don't know. I don't think you're going to get arrested for taking a croissant out. But morally, I think removing food from a buffet, I don't know is best. But I don't know. I don't think that sounds fully legit. If you ask me, what do you think? Would you? Do you?
Yeah,
Maybe don't answer that question.
Yeah, it's wrong, isn't it? I've not. I don't enjoy a buffet, to be honest. I think perhaps we've spoken about buffet before, but I think the cost of getting a wide variety of food is that the quality of the food doesn't always seem much better. Maybe I just don't go to great buffets. But
yeah,
I wasn't thinking cost. You're kind of talking more hotel breakfast vibe. I was thinking more like big dinner buffet, fat restaurant. You're taking a couple chicken pakoras out in your pocket.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I can only go back to when I travelled to Jerusalem once, and we went to see Al-Aqsa, yeah, and we were lots of brothers, and a few brothers were about to take out like drinks and fruit and stuff, and one of the other brothers said basically you need to check with someone here whether you can take that out because it's technically it's the breakfast served in the hotel and whether you can take extra. So he made the brothers go and check with the staff whether it was okay to take the drinks and fruit and stuff, and they said obviously it was fine. But that was that brother being extra, not extra, but that's how he dealt with it. He made sure that he just asked the staff at the place if he could take it, and it was fine. In terms of like a dinner buffet in the evening, I think if you went somewhere nice and you walked out with a couple of extra bits of lamb in your pocket, I don't think you're going to get arrested. But I don't think it's morally quite right, is it? I think you go to the buffet, you eat in the restaurant, and that's you done. If you can't manage it, you leave it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There is some nice buffets that exist that are a bit more premium, but the quality is nice. They do exist. But a cheap buffet is awful and it's not going to leave you feeling great. But like you can get more premium buffets with nicer food, different stations with different things, which I've experienced, which are nice.
Yeah, I think Brazilian food generally have quite high quality buffets, don't they? Well, it's like I suppose I don't know if it's a buffet.
I've had a really bad experience actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we won't go into it. Yeah, but no, you can have good experiences, you can have bad experiences, but yeah. Generally speaking, don't steal from buffets is the real message here.
Fine. Okay. That's good to know. That was the thought I was having.
Next. Any other questions?
Yeah, any questions for Big Sam? No, not really, bro. Just, I suppose it's a good time to catch up in that case. How's the summer holidays going, bro? You mentioned last week that you're on summer holidays now, or kids on summer holidays. Has it taken a toll on you?
Yeah, it's been good. I've been quite busy with work as well, so unfortunately haven't been able to spend that much time with them, but they've been extremely busy. My wife has been taking them out and they've been extremely active, which is nice. I do have plans coming up with them. I'm with them this afternoon, in fact. It's been good. They're it's tiring having them around so much, actually. It's nice. The school definitely just kind of zaps some of their energy and fulfills them more so than just being kind of doing bits and pieces all day. So yeah, just trying to find things to entertain them, really, bro. Like nice, constructive things to entertain them. But it's been good. It's been nice.
We have to do a lot of that taking out stuff here because, as you know, it's too hot outside, but on the weekends they're just going to get bored in the house, and so there's lots of things for kids to do around here, like a lot of there's play centers and stuff like that. But we've actually found a bit of a hack. There's a lot of family friendly restaurants here. I say restaurants, more like cafes, where they'll do like really nice specialty coffee, but then in the corner there's like a play area. And so you can kind of go there, just shove the kids in the corner and have a nice coffee.
Yeah, nice.
And we've been doing that a lot on like the weekends and stuff. And kids are busy, they're enjoying it, but we get to have kind of like at least relaxing, enjoying coffee. But I'm looking forward to September because for the first time ever in the history of the Ibn Faisal household, one of our children is going to be entering the education system in the form of a nursery. Inshallah.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, he needs it now.
Yeah.
He's slowing down on the naps. He's got energy.
Yeah.
Everything's like, you go downstairs like, Harrow? He's just like so like active, bro, mashallah. So yeah, he needs that.
So you've chosen the nursery already?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just, you know what it is, bro? We chose it based on location. It's just very close. There were other nurseries that were like a half an hour drive away, but they're like Islamic nurseries. And I was thinking about it, but he's very young. He's 2 years old, 2.5. And well, he'll be 3 in October. So by the time he's in nursery properly and stuff, he'll be 3. And in this country, because the country is based on Islamic law and Islamic, I suppose what I'm trying to say is a Muslim country is my point.
Yeah.
So like any nursery kind of has to abide by like the rules of the country anyway, and like the standard and the morals of the country. Obviously, an Islamic nursery is better. I'm not saying it's not better, but he's not doing much studying there. He's more like just like learning ABCs or whatever.
Young.
So we want a 10-minute walk versus a 30-minute drive. It just made sense to do the 10-minute walk. So,
of course, yeah. It's exciting though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exciting.
So how many hours will you be going for the morning? You'll sort of drop them in the morning, pick them up in the afternoon.
We have to. We've got to fill that form out. And initially we were going to do the 4 hours thing, but we might actually decide to go for 6 hours. So the 4 hours would be 12 till 4. We'd prefer afternoon, and then obviously or 12 till 6. So kind of I'm in an iron about that, but going to finalize that now. I don't know why we chose.
Him in the background there. Is that him in the background?
I think that's Khalil. I can't, you know, like even in the mornings when like when I wake up, I'm always like, I say to my, like one of the kids are crying, I say to my missus, which one is that? And then she tells me, like I can't tell the difference at that time in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah,
so that'd be fun, man. It'd be interesting. Nursery will be a cool experience.
So how many days is that, sorry?
I think it's 4. I don't, it should be honest, my missus has been dealing with it. I have no idea. But
nice.
Bro, he's picking up on so many things now. I've realised how careful we have to be. And we haven't experienced this before. You would have experienced this with both of the kids by now. But I just didn't realise how fast they pick up on things. So one thing that happened is when anything happens, like something falls or something, Zakariya started to go, "Oh my God." And I heard him. And I was like, what? I said, you do not say that. Don't say that. Because essentially he's like when he's shocked by something or something bad's happened, he's like, you only realise when a kid says it, you're like, that's not a good thing to say. So I don't know how he's picked it up. But now what I've been doing is I've been walking around the house, and when something bad happens, I'll be going, oh my days. Like, so like, and I'll be like, I was shouting days, like, and then sometimes something will happen and Zakariya goes, oh my, and then I'll go, days. And I was just trying to stop him from saying, oh my God. So yeah, I'm really, he's like loads of things, bro. There's that, he says, you just got to be so careful with what you say, man.
You definitely do,
I can't think of anything on top of my head, but like, yeah, you got to be so careful. Now, he just pick up, and he's saying whatever we say.
Yes, I have the same experience. Like the boys come back from school and say things that they must have heard from their friends, from other things. And it's crazy how they just pick up on the smallest little things, and sometimes hold on to the things they've learnt and constantly repeat them. And it's like, where did you get that from? Where's that from? Who told you that? What is that?
Yeah. Well, in our house, he's probably only heard it from either his parents or someone who's been in the house. So we haven't even got anyone else to blame.
True. Yeah, true.
I've been like clocking some of the things I've been saying. I've been clocking some of the things I've been saying now. I'm thinking, like, I've got to be careful.
So you'd prefer him to say, oh my days, over, oh my God?
I guess, like, it just doesn't sound right, does it? Like, it's almost like something bad's happened.
A lot of
so
people
he's like...
true. Oh my God. Yeah, it's quite... A lot of people say it,
when you hear an adult say it, it sounds normal. When you hear an innocent child say it, you think that doesn't sound right.
True, it's almost a bit,
Yeah.
Yeah, so make him a bit street, teach him the street way.
I mean, it'd be better for him to say like, La
days.
ilaha illallah, subhanallah. But you're not even glorifying your Lord when you say, oh my God, are you?
No, you're not. You're just saying, God. Oh my God.
But from the Islamic element, I've started to implement saying alhamdulillah. So I'm like fake sneezing and I'm like, alhamdulillah, or like...
nice.
And so now when he like has a drink, after he's finished drinking, he says alhamdulillah. So that's nice. I'm going to start teaching him Bismillah inshallah as well now. So.
I was going to say, Bismillah before drinking and eating is the good one, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story, man.
That's the story.
Yeah. We just
What else is
finished
new?
shooting an episode of Inner Circle. We're going to put that out on the YouTube channel today to just like show people what Inner Circle is like and stuff. But it's interesting. We were talking on there about something. We started like getting into some deep reflection. What we were talking about is we were saying that it's typical topic that you, I suppose, talk about all the time, but reminder benefits to believers. We were saying that it's so easy to get distracted in the dunya to the point where and I'm guilty of this, you're constantly thinking about the next thing. I was saying that, Kaya basically said to me, like, are you a person who reminisces a lot? And I was like, I don't really reminisce a lot, but I think that's because I'm constantly looking forward, but not in a positive way, in a way where it's like, okay, like, just want to get to that next step, just want to get to that next step, just want to get to the next step. And what happens in that journey of waiting to get to the next step is you're going to get old and die. And then you think, because sometimes I'm like, am I memorizing Quran or reading Quran enough and stuff like that? And I'm like, let me just like, there's this phase I'm going through in life. Let me just get out of this phase, and I'm going to start implementing Quran every day, or every like an hour a day or 2 hours a day. And then what happens is you realize that actually all of life you're in a phase. There's just a bunch of different phases, and then you die. And so we were saying that it's interesting because what you have to try and do right now, we're probably living our lives where it's like 80% dunya, 20% like akhirah or whatever. Like the point is like we're focusing on dunya, but really it should be like all of the focus, I suppose, should be on akhirah, and we should remember that the dunya is just a distraction. Like the job we have, the money we get, all of it should be just a vehicle to get closer to Allah. We have to remember that our time on this dunya is only for the akhirah. And I suppose we were like reflecting back and forth about that.
Yeah, 100%. It's very easy to get lost in the dunya, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be consumed by the dunya. Yeah, 80%, 20%. Yeah, I don't know what to say, to be honest, bro. I definitely don't want to be a hypocrite. Definitely being open and honest, like as the years have gone on and I'm working towards what I'm working towards, I've definitely feel myself more and more consumed, obviously, by the dunya, because I've got so much dunya around me, and I'm quite busy with it, and I'm definitely guilty of it being extremely like distracting, and but when you're in it and you're living here and you know, like, it's so easy to be sucked in by it and whatever else. But most importantly, if you're continuously doing your salat and doing, you know, when fasting comes around and you're doing your charity and your remembrance of Allah is there. And ultimately, your intentions of why you're working is for halal means and to support your family, and there's obviously good intentions behind it. It's also, don't get too guilty in the sense of getting lost in your work and your stuff and you know, in dunya as such. Because if you have the right intention behind it, you know, it's ibadah, it's worship anyway. And that's not me making an excuse saying just go out there and work and make money, but have a good intention in it, and it's worship. But it kind of is. And if your intention of why you want to consume wealth and to do good with wealth, whether it's support community, your family, or whatever it is, I don't think that you should be sort of too guilty about that. I think there's a lot of power in being a successful Muslim, being able to give back and being able to be someone in the community with some strength and some power, and finance does that. So I think there's just finding that balance. And I get asked all the time, how do you find the balance? And I don't think I have the balance, unfortunately. I think I'm obviously very consumed by dunya, but you know, I don't miss my salah, and I, you know, all that kind of stuff I try and hold on to, and I always try and remember my intention of why I'm doing this and why I started in the first place, and what I plan to do with the, inshallah, the success that I'm working towards. So, you know, without advising people to just solidly focus on work, but remember the intention behind it, and remember it actually it is a form of worship with the correct intention. And if you're doing something good with the result of it, you know, fantastic. That's gonna get you so much further if you do the right things.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about the amount of deeds we miss out on when we do the same act but we don't do an intention behind it, isn't it? Like, you're doing the act anyway, you might as well refine your intention and get some deeds out of it. And sometimes we forget that. It's like, how often should we be rectifying our intentions? Like, probably
renewing our intentions,
yeah. Yeah, renewing.
But would you agree with that? I mean, look, I think like when I came to the deen, I went from someone who's obviously super into dunya and chasing dunya and chasing wealth and all the rest of it, to then being told by a lot of people none of it matters, because, you know, when we go, it's all going to go 100%. Then other people saying, well, actually, you know, you could be in the dunya for 80, 90 years. Think about all the good you can do by getting to a certain place, whether it's wealth or whether it's status or whatever it is. So there was such like conflicting views of like what's expected of a Muslim man, and in terms of like what should we strive for in terms of dunya and success, whether it's the workplace or businesses or whatever it is. I just found it quite conflicting at the start. You know, we're supposed to like. I didn't rate how there was people who just didn't work, and I found people who just had, you know, worked part time, and no judgment, but they were living in, you know, not a very nice lifestyle. When I said not a very nice lifestyle, just very, very basic and almost struggling to the point where it looked kind of stressful. And I'm just trying to work out, like, in society we shouldn't look weak and poor. We should look powerful and, you know, in a certain place. So yeah, just trying to find again that balance of where do we go in terms of like dunya, and where do we want to get to, and all that kind of stuff. And I certainly don't think as Muslims we should be hiding away and not trying to be successful while we're here, because there's a lot to be said with what you can do with that success.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like, the upper hand is better than the lower hand. That's a narration from our religion, isn't it? In the sense that it's better to be the one who's giving than to be the one that's, like, you know, trying to take. And something that I used to reflect on a lot with Omar when we were younger is we would talk about how it feels like there's not many, I suppose, like in the business world, successful Muslims who are like kind of paving the way. Now, I don't think that's true, but it is true to an extent. It's true to the extent that, like, there's loads of successful businessmen and there's loads of successful Muslims and who are on deen and they're, like, you know, doing things in a halal way. I don't disagree with that, the fact that that exists. But what I suppose I mean is having a mainstream light shone on them. So your Bill Gates, your Elon Musk, those people who are, like, always, I suppose, in the limelight, where people can look at them as an example. If you want to, like, dig in, then you'll find loads of examples. I remember when I started in business, and some of Omar's clients would come to the office, and bro, some of them would be, like, you know, so successful and, like, clearly very practicing, and I would ask them questions. They would, like, I remember one specific person, like, he kind of took me under his wing, and I would speak to him and ask him, and that was very helpful. But these people are hidden away, is my point. And it would be nice for someone like you're saying to almost, like, become that successful, inspiring figure for younger men and women who are Muslim, and then almost be in the limelight and show that that's an inspirational thing and it's, like, something worthy of happening. And I think the only thing that I suppose not gets in the way of that, but one has to be careful of, it is their intention, like you said, but we can't open up people's hearts, so we have to assume the best. We can't say that person's insincere with what he's doing because we don't know. And I think that's a real shame. I think, like, we're very quick to judge people's sincerity, and it's a line of discussion that we don't really have much right to speak about.
Yeah, but interesting topic. I mean, yeah. It would be nice to have more high status, high valued individuals in the limelight of being role models, being able to help sort of guide young Muslims on how to be, you know, successful, not only within dunya but with deen as well, and have that sort of how you have that balance. Because of course there is definitely a lot of very, very successful, wealthy Muslim entrepreneur businessmen out there. But you're right, there's not clearly many in the limelight as such. But yeah, this is the conversation. What is it kind of like? Are you looked down upon a little bit if you are striving so much to be successful in business or in the workplace as a Muslim? Like, what is the kind of, like, the expectation of where you kind of how you treat it?
Yeah, well, look, there's, like, you hear things about charity should be given in private, but there's benefit in giving it in public because it's benefit, like, and to give a lot in public to, like, show people, like, to inspire others. And one of the people that you can be quote unquote jealous of is a wealthy Muslim who gives for the sake of Allah. So there's definitely space for wealth and being wealthy. Bro, give me 2 seconds, yeah? Sorry.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, bro, sorry.
That's okay, you're right.
Yeah, bro, look how much I'm sweating.
What happened?
I just went out in 42 degrees heat in a jumper. That's what happened.
Really? Why? Why did you go outside?
What's that?
Why did you go outside?
Yeah, so basically what happened is our car is, they took it for a service today. And so what they did is they gave us a replacement car while they're servicing it. And so But this replacement car is a keyless car. Yet the key, so you're relying on the buttons, but the unlock button doesn't work. So my missus is trying to get in the car, she can't get in. So then, with a keyless car, there's always a manual way to open the key just in case the buttons don't work. So I had to like manually show it. And the other thing is because that button doesn't work, every time you unlock the car, the alarm goes off. So I was just showing her how a keyless car works and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, good. Do you need a minute? You look like you're a bit flustered. Do you need 1 second?
No, let's do this.
Okay, fine.
But I can't remember the conversation, so we can switch it up.
Let's switch up. Are you going to use any of this? Or are you going to start? This is going to be cut out.
I'll use it. It's fine.
Cool.
Natural and raw.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, bro, this is something interesting. Okay, so I know we always end up talking about the same things on Fresh Grounded, but who cares? It's food related again. But this is interesting. Okay, so this week I was doing some work, and that work required me to watch like different podcasts and stuff like that, right? And so I'm like discovering new podcasts. Most of them are based in America. And so I came across these two podcasts. One is like, I don't know, some... anyway, they're food related, right? But when I say food related, they're more so related to health, okay? And what I found really interesting is that, so essentially they they're both doctors, I suppose in the realm of diet. Both these podcasts, they were so anti-calorie counting. And they were saying like this is like a huge issue where people start doing calorie counting diets, and what they're doing is they're replacing quality of food, because loads of these processed foods that calorie count, the two main issues with them is one, just all they care about is the calories, and therefore they can put as much rubbish in the food as they essentially want. And secondly, the calories on processed food, or any packaged food, they were saying, can be plus or minus 20%. So it could be like wrong by about 20% or 10%, sorry. Okay. And in a restaurant, it can be plus or minus 200%. So when you're on a calorie specific diet, first of all, you're not really necessarily getting that wrong anyway. Another issue then is that when you start controlling your body and to, let's say, for example, 1,500 calories a day, what happens is your body eventually becomes accustomed to 1,500 calories a day, starts functioning as a body that takes in 1,500 calories a day, and therefore you have... It's not as effective. It's not like, because I'm having 1,500 calories a day, I'm losing weight. It's no longer as effective because your body gets used to it. Lastly, they were saying that like the fact that you can just like pinpoint and say like all men need 2,500 calories a day is just ridiculous, basically. So they were just myth busting calories like left, right, and center, and which hurt me here, because I'm like, I'm trying to get back in shape, and like step number one is calorie deficit, which I'm not saying is wrong. I do think though that there's so much truth to what this one doctor was saying about quality of food, and how, for example, like nuts, there's great quality in nuts, but they're so high calorie, and he was like, I wouldn't recommend having a lot of them, but he said the wholeness, and essentially he's promoting whole foods as opposed to like, there was like one of the questions he was asked, I think this guy's name is Stephen Gundry, is there anything worse, or the title of the video was, the one piece of food that's worse for you than sugar. And he said it's widely known that the worst thing a person can put in their body is sugar. But the one thing that's even worse than sugar, he was saying, is processed foods. So man, that all got me, man. I started like really researching deep into it, and then I was like feeling guilty for anything I've given my kids. I'm like, why aren't we just like fresh, like whole foods every single day? And it's not realistic, bro. I was like that for like a day, and then like I got hungry and I would like have some cereal. But man, it really did like hit me, man. Like for a minute it hit me. Just for a minute, for a day. It's hot. I didn't realize. I was hoping that was going. I was hoping that was going somewhere more strong. Like I'm completely changing up my diet, my children's diet, everyone's diet.
but you're not.
Okay, so there are some changes I made, right? One of the changes that I've temporarily, while I'm trying to figure out, I stopped calorie counting. Because I've been calorie counting for a good few weeks now, I understand when a portion is too big, and I understand when I'm snacking too much, and so I'm starting to roughly understand like what I need without having to count each specific calorie. So I've kind of stopped that after that. I did have kidney beans that day, so it was very wholesome. Kidney beans with fresh tomatoes.
Nice.
Yeah, I made a kidney. Actually, my wife made a kidney bean curry, but it was kidney beans with fresh tomatoes and stuff like that. Like, it was really it wasn't oily. She doesn't make oily foods, and it wasn't processed in any way, shape or form. We didn't use any soups for the curry sauce. It was fresh tomatoes and so on and so forth. So that was really nice, and I had that the next day as well. And what I've decided, because I can't just not calorie count because I'm just gonna get fat, so I've decided I'm gonna really try and get aggressive with my training, so that even if I'm having high calories but healthier food, I'm at least then like having good gym sessions. So I'm trying. The overall message this guy was giving was gut health is the most important thing for a person.
Absolutely. In terms of your training, bro, how do you feel about embarking on this journey without a PT? Because I believe last time you had that big transformation, you obviously had a few sort of health mentors around you. Is that something that you're going to obviously, have you found a big difference, the fact that you're just training by yourself and kind of just doing it by yourself this time?
Yeah, I really struggle training by myself, man. Really struggle. So I'm going to have to, because, a PT is just going to be like not realistic. And what I have done, which I think is quite beneficial, is I train with one guy on Sundays, because he trains at 5:30 a.m. every day. This guy's a beast. But I can't train at 5:30 because I'm with my kids at that time. And so, but on Sundays he can do later because it's a weekend, I guess. So on Sundays I train with him. So one session a week, I have like a really powerful, strong session. And my hope is that session, because when you have a good session, you're motivated. So my hope is that one huge session will motivate me for my next 3 or 4 sessions. And then before I lose motivation, I have another like good session with someone.
That's my hope. That's smart. Yeah. I wonder whether you could slip into maybe like 1 or 2 of those 5:30 sessions, or is that literally a no-go with the kids?
Bro, man, I don't know, maybe nursery will change things, but these days, man, these kids are waking up so early, man.
What time they both get up at the same time?
Yeah, like they kind of wake each other up. Like today they got up at 5:15.
So you've just been up since 5:15, yeah?
That's like the earliest. They normally wake up around 6. Yeah.
And you get up with them, do you?
Yeah, so I do the morning until 9. Then my missus takes over at 9. She's with them all day till 5-ish. And then we both kind of just like have dinner with them, and we're kind of together with them until 7. They sleep at 7.
Sure. Interesting.
What about you, bro? You still boxing?
I'm not boxing at the minute. Unfortunately, my trainer actually moved to Mexico, which is good for him. He's doing like full-time Muay Thai in Tulum in Mexico. So he's like full-time out of the country basically. So I was about to join another gym, but then it's a bit too far away. So I'm kind of in a bit of a limbo at the minute. But I've got a session next week with someone new, so we'll see how that goes. But it was nice. I had someone who was coming to me. Sometimes I'd go to the gym and it was working out really well. And then he's moved away. So it was so convenient and worked so well with my lifestyle. So I'm just looking for a replacement trainer, to be honest.
What's your goal? Like, because you always said that it's just about being healthy, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's it really. Do you know what? When I started boxing, I really loved learning more about boxing, because I've kind of over the years I've done lots of different boxing training, but never with a proper coach one-on-one where they can really get my technique together. So
yeah, I mean, you know how to fight.
Anyone knows how to throw punches on pads, and I think some people think that's boxing. But when you really learn about it, it's like you're a boxer. You don't want to. You specifically, Sam, do not want to catch my hands, and I'll leave it at that. I didn't realise you had much boxing experience.
Minimal boxing experience.
So you just like fighting, do you?
Close to 0.
Oh, but you said don't watch your hands. As in what? So is that a threat? I don't understand what's going on here.
No, I'm just saying
very passive aggressive.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you got to be careful around my hands.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because they're a bit greasy.
Yeah, I've got eczema actually. I'm trying to do that. You don't want to catch it. You don't want to catch my eczema. That is true. I feel like I feel like you don't want to get in a tough situation with big man Sam. Though. I feel like there's a situation. You're walking down. The road in Hertfordshire. Sam's with his kids and his wife, with his family, doing a nice evening stroll. Some drunkard across the road starts yelling, "Hey, you're a bit tall," or whatever they say to tall people. I don't know. What's like abusive to tall people? I don't know. Hey, lanky or something. I don't know. And then you're like, all right, now I'm in a situation where my wife and my kids are seeing another man confront me. Your ego is being pushed. I feel like at that point, we'd see Sam cross the road and say, "Excuse me, sir, if you continue to speak like this, I am going to need to show you the flight of my hands." Am I right in saying that you would do that?
Did you ask me the question and then you answered it, or was there a question, or are you telling me what I would do? What
I suppose I'm just telling you what I would imagine you would do. Yeah.
You do.
How accurate
I mean,
was
if I'm with my wife and kids, you're not going to see me break my peace for any drunk person. I'm going to continue walking. I'm going to make my way home. If they continue to tail and I feel like there's a threat to my family, potentially there's something different. But I'm 33 years old. I'm a big man. I can't be fighting and even like getting agitated by something like that. I'm not on it. So I'd have to continue walking, ensuring the family is safe. If he follows, I'm going back. I'm laying him down. If not, I'm going straight home. And my children will see that it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
So when you say lay him down, what does that mean? You don't want to get into details. No.
There won't be any details given. But I mean, if we're walking home and he crosses the road, continues to shout, "Lanky, idiot," all these things, I would say to Mrs., "Just carry on walking a few steps." I would then go back.
Fine, okay. And the result would be that he would be, I suppose, close to...
I just say fine. Laying down is the best.
Okay.
Sleepies.
Fine.
But look, let's really hope a situation like that never comes up, because it sounds dreadful. A drunk man shouting abuse at a family, So that generally I avoid those, and God forbid that happens.
Yeah, I think it was Bruce Lee who said the best thing to do in a fight is to walk away. And actually, bro, there's this there was this fighter. Oh yeah, Logan Paul, who said they asked him, "Have you ever been in a street fight?" He said, "No, I'm too clever for that." This man's fought Floyd Mayweather, so be careful now.
It's true. You love fighting, don't you? I just remembered actually one of the first conversations we had in Gambia. You were telling me how much you liked MMA.
I don't.
And you've been into it for a long time.
Really
you used to be into it. Sorry?
Yeah, man. Do you know what, bro? I now what I watch, I almost watch nothing really. I tell you what, I have. There's one thing.
You used to like it though, didn't you? Didn't you used to really like MMA back in the day? Am I wrong?
Yeah, when it was on, it used to be on a channel called Bravo.
Yeah. Okay.
It used to be free.
So I think that not anymore. You don't keep up with it now.
No. I recently know that there was an event in London, and I kind of caught up with the London event. So there's this guy called Paddy Pimblett, and he had a fight, and so like things like that when like things pop up. But no, I don't like watch every event and stuff like that. But I do like every now and again like catch up with like what's happening. I tell you what though, there's one thing that I've been watching recently that I've become a bit of a, what is the word, like guilty pleasure of mine. It's very rare that I'll get time to just chill and watch something. But nowadays, I am trying to make a bit of time to kind of relax because my brain has been going in overdrive. And what I think is documentaries about like behind the scenes of sport. And so there's a documentary. It started because before I left London, there's a documentary that everyone would have heard of called All or Nothing. And All or Nothing is an Amazon Prime documentary. They show behind the scenes of like an entire season at a football club or a rugby club or tennis or whatever, right? Like specific sports. And oh man, I watched like the Man City one and I was like so obsessed. Then I ended up watching the one of like Tottenham. No, I watched the Tottenham one, then I watched the Man City one, and now the Arsenal one's coming out in a couple of days. I'm going to watch that. I'm like excited for that. And you know what, bro? This is really embarrassing. But I actually, what I love about them is like understanding how a big empire, because both these football clubs are like multi-million, probably maybe even billion-pound empires, and just to see how parts of them are run, I find really interesting from a business perspective. So here's something that I'm going to tell you that nobody knows. Even my missus doesn't know it because she'll probably be like, "What are you doing?" I actually recently started paying for City Plus, which is Manchester City's like streaming service, so that I can watch their behind-the-scenes documentary because I find it that interesting. So that is one thing. That's what I've been watching recently.
Interesting. Is it the business side of things you find interesting, or the football side of things, or both?
No, it really is the business side of things. Just, I suppose, you don't necessarily see like crazy business, but you can read between the lines. Like you can see, like, for example, the coach that they travel on, and you start understanding like elements of branding that they put into the like care for these things, or like where Man City train in their training ground, they have like branded weight plates. And I don't know why things like that intrigue me, but it's interesting to see how big corporations do that, how they spend their money. Why is that important to them? Like, because you see sometimes the most wealthiest individuals, they don't spend money on the silly things, but then it's starting to understand that psychology of things, I suppose. Like, I do one day hope that Freshly Grounded will be this big empire where we'll have a big complex, we'll be able to sponsor sports, we'll be able to have a gym. Like, of course I have those dreams, and so it almost allows me to dream a little when I watch these things.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that. You're inspired by it.
I am inspired by it. So, and it costs £2.99 a month. So I thought, rather than trying to find like a stream or something.
Yeah, nice. Fair play. That's a good guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I spent hours and hours in the evening watching YouTube videos about watches.
You do? Really?
I do, yeah, to be honest. Sometimes I just take myself away from a missus and say, actually, I want to go and just watch some watch programs for a while. There's quite a lot of like YouTube, there's quite a lot of like jewelers that have got like behind the scenes series now of like them doing, again, like you're talking about the business side of things, and it's just fun. I find it very interesting. You learn a lot by watching these. So I find myself in the evening watching like hours on end of just about watches. That's
really interesting. So what kind of things do they show? I know you've always been into watches. That's really interesting though. I rate that.
It's just like there's like Watch Trader, which is a watch a jewelers up in Newcastle. They've got a really good series. It's like every month they drop one, and it's just like their day in day out. People buying watches, people trading watches, them going to London doing deals on watches. It's just, I find watches fascinating, and the whole business side of things. There's also a company in London called Trotters. They've got one YouTube series, and it's just like their day in day out. And it's just like, obviously the watch market goes up and down so much, and it's been crazy for the last couple of years. It's just very interesting. You learn a lot. I find myself just learning a huge amount about the market and watches and stuff. So yeah, that's my little guilty pleasure.
I heard that there's an app. So when you buy a Rolex, there's an app. I don't know if it's the official Rolex app or it's just another app where it's constantly updating with the live price that people are buying and selling that specific Rolex at. And so you can always, if you own the watch, you can always check what you could sell it for right now.
That's right, yeah. That's not. I don't think that's a Rolex. I think that's another app. But yeah, basically, you whatever watches you may own, you put them into the app, and it will basically tell you what the market price is. And obviously, it goes up and down like most things. So it's been a really like interesting couple of years with watches. The market is just crazy. Like people have made a lot of money, like crypto as well. People have made a lot of money very fast in certain watches. But now it's all sort of coming down and re-correcting itself. It's just very interesting watching the markets and just seeing what's happening currently with, economics and recession and things like that, and how it's having an effect on crypto and watches and things like that. I find it interesting. Just trying to study it, really. Trying to learn as much as I can.
I think I heard that when the crypto crash happened, like the watches started selling really well.
No, when the recent crash happened, the watches went down as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's like loads. I mean, currently, obviously, through lockdown and stuff, it went crazy. It went up. So it's almost like re-correcting itself now. People aren't saying it's dropping. People are saying it's re-correcting because some of the watches went from a value of let's say £10,000 to £60,000. There's some real crazy like increases. So it's kind of like re-correcting. Everything's going down, but kind of a bit more realistic prices. Yeah, but it's fascinating.
That is really interesting. I think that's actually a beneficial thing for you to be interested in, to take your mind off things, because you're actually educating yourself. Really, is what you're doing.
Sure, it is educational.
Like
I do it each time I walk. Each time I watch something, I just learn something else, and it's interesting. There's a lot of money to be made in high end watches and things like that. So the more you know, like anything, the better position you are when opportunities come up.
You know, one of my favorite pieces of content is the Menspire documentary or like vlog, when you guys came back from the first or second lockdown and you were talking about sanitization stuff. I love that piece of content, and I just wish you guys created more of that.
I wish we created more of that. I had the intention of doing a lot more of that, bro. But like anything, it's just like it's so time consuming, and not to say that we can't do it, but I wanted to do a series literally just like that. So everything's kind of like a bit more real, behind the scenes, me talking more. And we've done bits and pieces. We've just not done we haven't fully committed to doing it and doing like a YouTube series and stuff. But I definitely do have plans to do that. In fact, I'm looking to shoot a nice video where I'm actually going to be talking a bit more. Next week, we're going to Amsterdam. We're opening our 4th shop in Amsterdam, which is obviously amazing for us. We're thrilled. So as it's such like a landmark, I want to, rather than just have all these videos of us just walking around doing whatever, just kind of document it and talk about it a bit more. So I am planning to do a bit more of that, because I think it's nice content, people talking and a bit more real life. So yeah, I am planning to do that.
The same itch that I get scratched from those sports documentaries is kind of the feeling I had when I watched that Menspire content, and I was like, there's definitely like a huge viewership market for this, from people who are not even in the industry like me, who just find it fascinating, to definitely people in the industry who are inspired by you guys. And it's, yeah, man, it was amazing. And I suppose it kind of just like requires like one, like almost, but the thing, yeah, you're right. It kind of like requires almost like a team to like just be dedicated to that and that only, which then starts becoming the whole thing.
It's like doing the odd video is very possible, and that the cost is fine and stuff. But then to do it, I don't want to make an excuse. I'm saying why I haven't done it. I would want like almost like to relaunch the YouTube channel, to really like market this and do it properly. I wouldn't want to just kind of fling out average ones. I'd want to do like 5 episodes were really strong, not scripted, but like really well thought out. And there's to make it good, I believe there's quite a lot of work behind it. And like I said, I'm not going to not do it. I think now it's more relevant than ever to be able to do it, because I've got more to talk about and more to show. I'm more happy to show the bloopers, the things that are going wrong. I'm kind of in quite a comfortable place with it. So I think I can provide probably better content. So I'm definitely going to do it. We've just been waiting, I suppose, for the right time. And I think now we've got multiple places all over the place and so many amazing people involved. I think I'll be able to create nice content a lot easier without maybe having to put everything on me talking all the way through. So I'm planning it and working towards it. And like I said, next week going to Amsterdam, we are planning to do like a bit more of a documentary style video. So yeah, hopefully I can bring them to the YouTube and like you said, hopefully people will enjoy it.
Yeah, I think definitely people would enjoy it, man. It's funny because sometimes you can get these ideas, all of us, and then all of a sudden 2-3 years have passed and you think, oh man, like like almost, it's like ideas are nothing without action. It's tough, that one, because obviously it's not a priority for you either. Like the priority is running the business, and the content will be great and it looks great and people would, and eventually it probably does become a part of the business even. But right now it's just something that has to be built, and it's like when something is like that, it's like it can't be a priority because there's mouths to feed, there's staff to pay and stuff like that. So that's understandable, man.
Sure, but no, like I said, like not making an excuse. I've almost been waiting for it to really make sense, and I think now is a better time to do it anyway. I think we can definitely show a better example of everything. And like I said, it'd be nice to keep it a bit more real and show people the realness of it, not just the bright lights of running a business. Like I'm quite happy to show people. We did a video when we closed down our King's Cross shop. We did a video to explain it and kind of highlight it. To kind of, we knew that lots of businesses were closing down and whatever. And we did a really cool video that Aman shot, and it was just quite raw, bit of talking. Went to King's Cross, closed down the shop, left, and people loved it. People really liked the kind of the realness of it, and they could relate to it because obviously technically it's a failure. We're closing something down, so a bit more of that is. I don't want to do a documentary just based on negatives, but I'm in a better place to be able to show people the kind of the realness of running a business, if that makes sense. So I think it will happen at the right time, and I think that time's coming up. So.
Yeah, and I think now, like, transparency is so, because we for a while we've been in the information age, and now that information age has transferred to being just the information age, and like, you know, people talking to camera and like educating people, to actually now being more of transparency and like the world of like, look, everyone like we and it's probably aligned with the fact that we're like going into like this decentralization talk everyone's talking about like decentralization and that kind of stuff, and essentially decentralization really just means transparency, like everyone's on the same wavelength, and so you're seeing more content being created where people are talking like really openly, and I suppose that's why it fits in more now. I know that we're coming up to the hour mark, so I'm conscious of time, but one thing I selfishly want to actually ask you is, bro, and I want to cut Zakariya's hair soon because it's a mess and it's so difficult in a barbershop. I butchered Khalil's. I have a very specific question to ask you. You know the clippers that you got me?
Yeah.
They were the wall I
Yeah.
don't know, super fade or super trim or something. The thing is, bro, is I just want to give him a haircut, bro. I'm not looking to be a master barber, but I just want to cut Zakariya's hair here while I'm here. And I don't have like the 1.5 guard and the 0.5 guard. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I still give him a haircut that doesn't look awful with just like 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
I just want to cut the shorts, the back and sides.
You can put like a 2 or a 3 on the sides.
And then what about the fact that he has longer hair on the top? Like, won't it just look like a step?
This is the thing. I mean, you're asking a question of how can I cut my son's hair. I mean, you'd have to. Really, the answer is you'd have to do a course and learn how to cut hair to cut his hair nicely. But if you're going to do a quick job, I can't see his hair, so I don't know what exactly it looks like. But a 3 is quite unforgivable on a like. It's not going to go too short. So maybe start with a 3 on the sides. I can't see his hair, see how long it is on top. But maybe do you have any scissors, or is it literally just clippers?
I need to get some scissors. I can't find them. Or so you like a 3 on the side and just scissor it in.
And scissor in a little bit, but you can't really go wrong with a 3 because it's not too short. Should be dark hair still, so it won't be like a skin fade, obviously. So like start with a 3, maybe even go in with a 4 and just find your comfortability with it. Then go to a 3, and if it's making sense, then you can go for a 2. I would leave the 1 for now, unless you're going to do the 1 maybe on the very edges of his sideburn and the nape of his hair.
Oh, so you still think I should fade it? I was saying like, is it possible just to do back and side short, but that won't look right?
Yeah, but when you do it, you'll do a 2 or a 3, and you'll notice that the edges will still be kind of a bit weighty and a bit messy. So how you do that is, then you put the guard a little bit lower, and you just flick the very edges.
Okay, I'm going to give it a go. I'll show you how it goes.
But yeah, I'm very much aware that this is like, you've just asked me advice on cutting hair on a podcast, which is on the internet, which is going to be there now. And I just need to make sure the answer is good, because in my position, you can't mess around too much.
Well,
with it.
I know that obviously you guys teach like professional haircut. I'm just asking for my 2-year-old kid. Like, yeah, you're right. Like, yeah.
2 or 3. Find your feet. And make dua and hope for the best is my advice to you, brother.
Yeah, and you also know how bad I am at this, so I think like it's hard for you to give me advice because you know I'm about to butcher it either way.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a barber, and I don't expect you to be, but yeah, go in with a 2 or a 3 and you should be fine.
Do you enjoy the business side of barbering more than or the cutting hair side? Because you're so passionate about the cutting hair side.
Yeah, I love cutting hair. I love cutting hair. I know
that about you. That's why I asked.
A lot more. I love the business side a lot more. And I realised that when the first year of opening the men's spa shop, the first few months in, it all came very clear what I wanted. And it was so interesting. I went from like I'm obviously very into my hair and passionate about hair, but my journey from like leaving school was being in hair salons and, working in London and doing lots of hair stuff. And I was really, really into my hair, doing photo shoots and being in art teams, doing loads of stuff. By the time I kind of then worked for myself in my house for a bit, I started turning into thinking a bit more about business, how to earn more money, how to be able to open a shop. Then by the time I opened the shop, I still loved cutting hair, but the whole passion and all of the passion I had almost just gone out the window. And I was just literally like, all I really care now is how I can build this as a successful business, and how we can get more people in, how we can get another premises. So, I was looking for my second shop. First few months in, speaking to people in Dubai about doing a franchise, first few months in. So my start was, I'm not going to focus on hair. I'm not going to focus really on doing anything kind of show-wise. I'm literally going to focus on how we can grow this business and how we can grow the people in the business. And alhamdulillah, it was perfect, because obviously my business partner Josh and Monica, although he's extremely a business savvy and he's a genius when it comes to the business side of things, he's also extremely passionate about hair and loves hair to a whole nother level that I don't think I've ever seen anyone in the whole world. So like together, he's kind of focused more on the hair, I suppose, in that sense, where I've kind of more focused on the business. So together the company is. It's Men's Spa. We're known for, education and hair, but we're also known for business and having, 20 plus salons. So I focus on the business, but I love cutting hair. And as you know, when I cut your hair, I loved cutting your hair. I loved I do like 1 or 2 days in the salon, and I've got like an amazing group of clients that all kind of like respect and know my journey. So they're very like patient with me. So if I'm not around, they wait and all that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't change that. When I'm in the salon, I'm fully booked, and I've got clients that I've been cutting for like 15 plus years. And I don't take new clients on, and that's perfect for me. So 2 days, 1.5 days cutting hair. The rest of the time I focus on the sort of the bigger picture is perfect for me.
I rate that, man. I rate that highly.
Good.
Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour, as always.
It's been wonderful, brother. Thank you so much.
We've had a nice chat actually today. It's been really nice. The guys, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Freshly Grounded, F.G, as some of you guys might call it, and that's fine. This has been episode. We're coming close to episode 300, inshallah, in the next couple of months, for which we have a nice plan. Hopefully, we can make it make sense and execute it, and we'll have a better idea of that down the line. Or actually, Sam, if you stay here for 5, have you got 5 minutes for me?
I will.
All right.
I got 2 minutes for you. Yeah.
Okay. And guys, we'll see you soon. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.